Hello, boys and girls. Remember when we left off, Laura and Mary were playing in the Kansas prairie, and there was a bird that Laura was quite fascinated with, and it was called a dickcissel. And this is what it looks like. And I read a little bit about it, and what these birds like is they like grasslands. So Kansas is a perfect place for them. And it even says you can see them in Minnesota in pastures and things where there's lots of grass and open space. It said to look for them on barbed wire fences. And here's the sound that they make. So that's a little bit of information about the dickcissel bird, the bird that Laura saw when she and Mary were playing in the prairie. And they were all over the prairie. And remember they chased after gophers, but they couldn't catch any? And since they couldn't catch any gophers, they brought Ma some flowers instead. We also learned that Ma is not real excited to see Indians or Native Americans for some reason. And she didn't really say why, but we'll find out a little bit later as we keep reading. And we also found out that the Native Americans that are in Indian country right now in the 1860s will soon be moved away by the government in Washington so people from the east can settle in Kansas where the Ingalls are now. So let's continue. We just left off right here where it said Ma ironed the dresses, and I was just explaining to you a little bit in the last video about the iron that they used. That Ma took the bottom heavy, it's very heavy, it's probably about 5 pounds, because that weight helps to flatten the clothes out that Ma irons. This goes in the fire, and Ma uses this part up here as a handle, and remember, so it doesn't get so hot, this part comes off of the bottom part. So we're going to continue on page 47. We left off right down here. We're going to read the last paragraph, and then we're going to continue on. Baby Carrie slept in the wagon, Laura and Mary and Jack on the shady grass beside it, because now the sunshine was hot. Jack's mouth was open, and his red tongue hung out. His eyes blinked sleepily. Ma hummed softly to herself while the iron smoothed all the wrinkles out of the little dresses. All around them, to the very edge of the world, there was nothing but grasses, waving in the wind. Far overhead, a few white puffs of cloud sailed in the thin blue air. And here's a picture of Ma with her iron. Remember, she put them on the wagon box here, on the wagon seat. And there she is ironing what looks like a dress. And now Pa has got the canvas pulled up on the wagon bows so wind can get through there because it's getting very warm out in the prairie now. Now, boys and girls, Laura just said that all she could see to the edge of the world was grasses waving in the wind. And remember, that's very different from the big woods because all they could see when they lived in the big woods was trees for miles and miles and miles. So remember what that word is when we talk about how things are different in stories? The word is contrast. So Laura right here is contrasting the big woods with the prairie. Laura was very happy. The wind sang a low, rustling song in the grass. Grasshoppers, rasping, quivered up from all the immense prairie. A buzzing came faintly from all the trees in the creek bottoms. But all these sounds made a great, warm, happy silence. Laura had never seen a place she liked so much as this place. She didn't know she had gone to sleep until she woke up. Jack was on his feet, wagging his stump tail. The sun was low, and Pa was coming across the prairie. Laura jumped up and ran, and his long shadow stretched to meet her in the waving grasses. He held up the game in his hand for her to see. He had a rabbit and 2 plump prairie hens. Laura jumped up and down and clapped her hands and squealed. Then she caught hold of his other sleeve and hippity-hopped through the tall grasses beside him. This country's cram-jammed with game, he told her. I saw 50 deer if I saw one, and antelope, squirrels, rabbits, birds of all kinds. The creek's full of fish, he said to Ma. I tell you, Caroline, there's everything we want here. We can live like kings. That was a wonderful supper. They sat by the campfire and ate the tender, savory, flavory meat till they could eat no more. When at last Laura set down her plate, she sighed with contentment. She didn't want anything more in the world. The last color was fading from the enormous sky, and all the level land was shadowy. The warmth of the fire was pleasant because the night wind was cool. Phoebe birds called sadly from the woods down by the creek. For a little while a mockingbird sang. Then the stars came out, and the birds were still. Softly Pa's fiddle sang in the starlight. Sometimes he sang a little, and sometimes the fiddle sang along. Sweet and thin and far away, the fiddle went on singing. None knew thee but too lovely, thou dear one of my heart. The large bright stars hung down from the sky. Lower and lower they came, quivering with music. Laura gasped, and Ma came quickly. What is it, Laura? She asked, and Laura whispered, The stars were singing. You've been asleep, Ma said. It's only the fiddle, and it's time little girls were in bed. She undressed Laura in the firelight and put her nightgown on and tied her nightcap. Remember, a nightcap is what people wore at night back in these days to keep themselves warm, because heat escapes through your head. So by putting a nightcap on, they stayed warm. But the fiddle was still singing in the starlight. The night was full of music, and Laura was sure that part of it came from the great bright stars swinging so low above the prairie. And boys and girls, just like in Little House in the Big Woods, remember what Pa did at night in that book too? He played his fiddle. So now Laura is kind of comparing what happened at night in Little House in the Big Woods, and it's comparing it to what is happening now in Little House on the Prairie. And that's the end, boys and girls, of Chapter 4. Chapter 5 is what we're going to read tomorrow. It's called The House on the Prairie. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.